listening to the Baumbastic podcast with Andrew Ellis on Inside Arkansas.
And what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Baumbastic podcast. Doing a little bit of a pregame show as Arkansas is about to take on Creighton in the regional final. After knocking the Blue Jays off last night, Creighton bounces back with an 11-10 walk-off victory over North Dakota State.
Wow.
Our Bison, can we actually, before we start, good. Hey, North Dakota State, that was a very valiant effort. Great season. You win your conference tournament. You win the Summit League, which is impressive in its own right. I like what they got going on with their head coach. It's a program that's in a good spot. I am more of a fan of – I have more respect for the program in the entire state of North Dakota than I did coming in. But I'm proud of the way that they handled things. And I mean, good to see Creighton. You know, this is kind of what we expected. We didn't expect to get that lucky. But North Dakota State battles back from 10-3. So we're feeling good. We're going to be soaking in the vibes about 2 hours before first pitch, which will be at 8 p.m. Central Time on ESPN+. And as you guys know, today's Baumbastic Postseason Podcast is presented by Hickey & Hole Law Partners here in Arkansas, where they handle matters such as divorce, custody, criminal, civil litigation, and more. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. Things could not hardly be better here at Foghorns. The vibes are immaculate. How are you guys feeling today? You've had a time to soak in the victory, get back to work, get some rest. Y'all feeling good, feeling energized for tonight's game?
I mean, I'm feeling not fully rested, but I'm feeling energized for the game, as weird as that may be. Just because, you know, we talked about it last night when we were flying high in the post-game show about how it's hard to have a better circumstance, a better situation if you're Arkansas going in. And I'm not trying to be over dramatic, but you're going to be playing Creighton. It would have been nice to play North Dakota State, but either way, we saw Creighton use one of their best pitchers, and it was a close game, high-scoring game, so they had to stretch it all out. It's hard not to feel good and confident going into this game tonight if you're Arkansas.
I feel good about it. And, you know, like we gave the golf clap to North Dakota State. I think they officially did everything. They checked all the boxes to become, you know, an adopted team that we kind of adore. You know, those sparky little fellas over there, we appreciate them. But, you know, they lost this game. But I think we kind of owe them like a second round of applause because truly – they helped Arkansas out here because they were down 10-3 in this game, and we were texting in the group, and it's like, you know, this is not an ideal situation by any means for whoever comes out of this game. Like, you would much rather be in Arkansas's position, but if you could draw up an ideal way to get through a game like this where you had to then beat Arkansas twice, they were on that path. Like, the guy that they started, they got 5+ innings out of him, and it looked like they might go through, you know, 2 or 3 arms, but none of their top guys there, and so they would have quite a bit available for Arkansas from what's a pretty good pitching staff for Creighton. But shout out to the Bison, man, for battling back, making it real interesting in there. And they had to use a lot of their top arms, including that closer that's filthy.
Good, yeah, that Langro kid, certainly nasty. What is this chant?
What the hell's going on?
This is the chant that they do in the Hog Pen Forever, where they say the opposing team. They go like, because Creighton is the
Blue Jays, yeah.
Blue Jays, and then people go sucks. Blue Jays sucks, and Blue Jays sucks. Blue Jays suck. It's just what they do. So that's
How
what
did
it was.
I not know about this? Did you know about this, Curtis? Did you know what was going on right there?
I couldn't really hear it. I heard a lot of commotion.
Well, you know, I'm very in tune with the Hog Pen.
You powered through your take there. You were stoned, man. You were locked in on the target. We're locked in here on this beautiful pregame show. And so I want to talk. You brought up a good point with the Creighton pitching staff and how look for a second like they might be in a good situation, might be able to kind of cruise through that elimination game today as much as you can cruise through when your season's on the line. But shout out to North Dakota State for pushing the envelope, making them kind of work a little bit, use some tops arms. I want to talk a little bit about those arms and what Creighton has left because I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to know about that. But first I want to talk about our friends over at Hickey & Hole, tell you guys a little bit more about them. Divorce and custody cases are too important to try and face alone. Let Hickey & Hole Law provide you with persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process. They have handled thousands, not hundreds, not a few, thousands of family law cases and have experienced nearly every scenario that may come up. The foundation of a strong attorney-client is honesty and trust. Hickey & Hole Law prides themselves on building relationships with their clients by providing honest, principled advice and representation. Hickey & Hole Law have offices across the state of Arkansas. If you're in Fayetteville, Portsmouth, Little Rock, Mena, anywhere near those areas, got a nice little, you know, congregation around the state of Arkansas. You can call them today at 479-434-2414, or you can check out their website, which is posted above our heads right here. Visit hickeyandhole.com or scan the QR code in the top right of your screen. It's Hickey and Whole Law. Things are about to get better. Would also like to talk to you guys about our friends over at Trevero Clothing inside the Dillards. Why spend so much time renting tuxes and suits when you can own the highest quality ones at an affordable price? That's what Trevero Clothing can provide for you. Whether it's weddings, formals, black tie events, have Trevero Clothing get you looking your best this summer. And it's going to be hot. You got to watch out, man. It's going to be getting off your fits, but you got to get the tan one like our guy, where that's a good summer suit. I'm looking forward to wearing that. You can check out their entire line on Instagram, or you can check them out at any Dillards near you. It's Trevero Clothing, where they dress the best version of you. Curtis, you brought up a very good point about this Creighton pitching staff. Like I feel a lot better. I mean, you feel good about the game. Arkansas has a ton of arms here. They're in a good spot. We feel like Arkansas is going to be able to hit against whoever they face. Like it's just a matter of if that team has their best guy or their worst. But Arkansas is going to be able to hit a lot of these guys, you'd like to think. But that Creighton pitching staff, which was a big storyline coming into the weekend, has been taxed a good bit. I mean, obviously Arkansas roughed up their freshman of the year pretty good. Use your Friday night guy, and on Friday, he throws 76 pitches. I assume Arkansas would see him at some point in this series regardless. They also had a top guy, Klusman, who threw 42 pitches. Those are the two guys that really pieced together Friday, a big win for Creighton. That put them in a pretty good position. They didn't have to use a ton of high-leverage arms yesterday because they were behind so far.
Right.
So you look at it, they go into today. There were two relievers that I spoke about on the Baumbastic podcast yesterday that I thought were like Creighton's guys that they want. You know, when it's a 4-2 game, you know, we want Gabe Gackle, we want Christian Fouch, we want Cole Gibler on the mound. Who does Creighton want on there? A right-hander in Langrel, the 6'7" closer that we saw today, who has, I believe, 12 saves on the year. He only throws 15 pitches in this game, but he did have to pitch in what was a 10-10 ball game. So you thought for a second, hey, this dude might have to throw 3 or 4 innings. Winds up striking out the side, and I don't even know if that's the right term. Obliterated the side.
Man,
15 pitches. You got a good look at him, Curtis, and I know you were very impressed. You'll probably have to see him at some point. Will it be tonight? Not sure. You'd imagine he'd be available. I mean, it's an elimination game. It's all hands on deck. Another guy that they threw, Ackerman, their soft toss and right senior, did not have a good game at all. Gave up 3 earned runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. Only gets 1 out. He only threw 18 pitches, so you'd imagine he's available, but didn't look too good. So how do you guys feel now that you've seen some of these Creighton arms? You've kind of seen a lot of these guys they're going to bring back, but now they've all had to throw a little bit. You've gotten a little bit of a look at them. You know who Arkansas has left in the tank. How much more confidence do you have going into this nightcap, knowing who the opponent is, knowing kind of what they have left?
I mean, I still feel as confident that I did last night going into this. No matter if it was Creighton or North Dakota State, I was going to feel the same way that Arkansas was going to win. Like, yeah, in theory and on paper, you'd probably rather have faced North Dakota State, but it's not to say that I look at Creighton and be like, oh, man, I just don't know, guys. I just don't know. If Arkansas does what they did last night at the plate against Creighton, which they are 100% capable of doing and probably should do, then it's not going to be any issue whatsoever. I think as long as they're patient at the plate, obviously umpiring, whoever's behind home plate has to be, has to be pretty good, has to be pretty consistent. I think the Jolly Green Giant last night was all right.
Dude, man.
Yeah, he's 6'9", but he was all right. But as long as those things come together, I think that Arkansas is going to be just fine. And I'm not going to say they're going to score more than 12 runs. It'd be nice if they did than what they did last night. But I think that we're going to see a very confident, very patient, but also a very scared Creighton team because they're like, man, we were out of pitching. We're going to have to roll these guys. We saw what they did last night to some of our better dudes. I just don't think they want that smoke.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel good about it. I've got my eyes on social media here, just trying to see if and when they announce who Creighton's going to start. I have no idea where they'll go with that. But there's one thing that I have noticed about their pitching staff, and Andrew, you pointed this out a lot, is they seem to have a lot of guys that they're willing to turn to, and it's pretty deep and it's good. And we've talked all about the difference in facing an Arkansas lineup versus a Big East lineup and all that. I feel fine. I'm comfortable. I just don't see a world where Creighton can hold down this Arkansas offense for 2 games.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. But I will say this. I do not want to be in a situation where you need to get something done and you're in a tight ball game and that Langrel kid comes in. He was filthy, man.
Yeah.
Like that dude is good. I understand why he pitches in the back end of games for them. Like he's nasty. I don't want to see that guy in a high leverage situation, but at the same time, Arkansas's faced that dude, a dozen times or more throughout the course of the year. But he looked the part for sure. So I'm anxious to see what they do here. I have no idea where they're going to go in terms of starting this game off, and I just assume that Arkansas just comes out there and jumps on them early and puts them away.
It's a Johnny Holstaff situation.
It
We've definitely
is.
reached that point. I mean, and they have some guys, they have some good starters on this team, but all of their top arms, all of their top starters have already thrown. So even if one of those guys gets announced, like, hey, if they announce, hey, Dominic Cancellari's throwing tonight, he threw 76 pitches the other day. So it's like, is it really going to be a true start? And so it's going to be Creighton piecing this thing together. And like you said, it's going to be hard to imagine them shutting down this Arkansas lineup. Speaking of the Arkansas pitching side, Gage Wood, who's obviously starting for Arkansas on the mound, and we'll talk about his outing here in a little bit when we get to our heavy hitter predictions. We're going to talk about heavy hitters, but normally we're doing the retroactive, talking about a guy who has already hit heavily. We're going to be looking ahead, trying to predict who are going to be the heavy hitters in tonight's game, and so we're going to have our eye on Gage Wood. Obviously, he has not thrown. He's on the mound for Arkansas tonight. You expect good things from him. We'll see how long he goes. Maybe 80, 90 pitches is about the max we've seen out of him this year. Gabe Gackle, Christian Fouch, Cole Gibbler, Will McIntyre, Dylan Carter. None of those guys have thrown a ball this weekend. So at minimum, that's what you've got. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Arkansas, how they handle this. And, because, I mean, what if you get down 3 runs, are you really going to throw Gabe Gackle? Probably not.
Right.
And so it's going to be interesting to see kind of what decisions Dave has to make. But one thing I like, and this is an obvious point, Creighton just had to fight for their lives. They blew a 10-3 lead. That's a very tense, you have to be dialed in every pitch, every out, stress. You use some of those arms, which is huge. Arkansas got to sit back, rest, relax, sleep in a little bit, spa day, got to go to Radiant Elements Medical Spa, get you a nice little massage and everything, got to relax, hang with the friends, do what you got to do. I liked Dave Van Horn's demeanor when he talked to the team last night, and he was like, didn't even hardly smile, and he's like, you guys haven't done anything yet. How much confidence do you guys have feel that we're going to see a rested, refreshed, not stressed Arkansas team? Just has to add to the confidence.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's absolutely the case. I mean, it's been preached about, and we talk about the players and how many weren't on last year's team or the year before, and knowing about losing in the regionals and everything like that. I'm sure those players who came in have heard about it from fans and whatnot. They're like, man, I wasn't even on the team last year, but you guys keep talking about this. So they know how important it was to get out of this regional and to get to Omaha and to continue it on. So I think that's something that's probably been preached to them since before even postseason started, that our goal is not to just get to the postseason. Our goal is to win the postseason. And I'm sure that they have that same demeanor and having that same confidence. And I just feel really good. The key to me is how patient is Dave Van Horn going to be, because that's the balance you got to have. You don't want to go in panic mode where if Gage Wood comes in and gives up 2 runs and 2 innings, you're immediately like, okay, we got to get him out. We got freaking out here. But you also don't want him to go too long where you get put into a pretty deep hole and having to dig yourself back out. That, to me, is going to be the key of just the patience, the balance, making sure that you don't go too early, making sure that you handle your business, but you also believe in your guy, because whether it's Gage Wood or whoever, you're going to need them after today. You're going to need them, assuming you go to Super Regionals, you're going to need them again. So you don't want to just break confidence, be like, okay, man, you're sucking. You get out of here. Find your patience, but don't be too patient. You got to find that balance.
Imagine the range of emotions that Creighton's felt over the course of the last 24 hours here. Like you get that big win over Kansas, and you're playing Arkansas, and they got humbled. I mean, it was belt to booty last night, and you got to bounce back from that real quick. And they jump all over North Dakota State, so they're probably feeling good, like they got their swagger back a little bit. Like, all right, the bats are rolling. Man, our starter's going deep here. Like, this is exactly what we need. And then you piss that entire lead away, and things get tight on you. You got to do some things you don't want to do, and then you have the emotion of getting a walk-off, in an elimination game. And now you have just enough time to go back into the dugout, have some bologna on white, maybe a little mayo, maybe a little mustard, and then you get to go see Gage Wood and that crowd again, where you could just tell how that impacted them last night. As soon as a runner got him, but any bit of momentum that could be swung in favor of Arkansas, and they were feeling the pressure of Baum-Walker. And I don't think it's going to take them long to feel that again in this game tonight.
Real quick, I agree. I think that if you have first, second inning, whatever it is, early, or Arkansas has a big inning, whether it's defensively or offensively, just that play where you get the crowd in it, they're going to break the spirit of Creighton. I truly believe that because like you said, they're on that momentum, they're flying high, but if you break that flying high feeling, they're cooked.
I mean, like we always say with pitchers, when you're asked to get 7 innings, it's a very different task than if you're asked to throw 2 innings. And you kind of knowing what you have in front of you, knowing that you have 18 innings in front of you, whereas Arkansas is looking at this thinking, we'd love to get out of here at 9. We can go ahead and do that today. You can kind of sniff that blood in the water, whereas Creighton's looking at the big mountain they have to climb. It's just two different mentalities, two different mindsets for these two teams, and so I think that's something that's certainly going to be in Arkansas's favor. But as we know in the postseason, that can turn around quick. Folks, want to remind you, we're here at Foghorns Live, and we appreciate Foghorns for just letting us kick it this weekend. It's been a really fun atmosphere. I go to Foghorns, I wouldn't say regularly, but I've been to Foghorns a ton over the years. I've never gotten to be here during this time of year, gotten to like really soak in this type of atmosphere and see Foghorns like in its heyday, in its peak. This is the best weekend to be at Foghorns. We really appreciate them. And so we're doing our pregame show here tonight, but that does not mean we are not doing a postgame show. So, folks, do not forget, after tonight's game, I know it's Sunday night. I know you had church in the morning. I know it's been a crazy weekend, but we're going to be going live at what I guess will be about 11:30.
Let's hope.
We'll see. We'll try not to keep it too long, but we're going to be breaking down the reaction to this game, win or lose. So it could be a very different vibe based on what's going to happen here. But we appreciate everybody for tapping in and kicking it with us here on this pregame show. Appreciate everybody in the chat. We're going to get to your chats here in a little bit. But before we do that, I want to get into our heavy hitter predictions. Want to see who we think is going to be the star here in this show tonight. It is now time to find out who will be our heavy hitters, presented by HD Roofing and Construction. Storms can hit unexpectedly, so be sure to contact HD Roofing for your peace of mind with a free inspection. I know we've had a lot of listeners that have taken us up on that offer for sure. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. Check out hdarkansas.com for more info. We appreciate them. Curtis, I want you to lead us off here. We got Daniel Shee. Daniel Shee is pulling up on. He's just crashing the show. Do we have a mic for Daniel Shee?
We can grab one.
We will
quick.
eventually. We're gonna need you. I've got an assignment for you, Daniel Shee. We're doing our HD Roofing and Construction heavy hitters. I need you to predict who the heavy hitter of today's game is going to be. It doesn't have to be a hitter, but it can't be either of the three people we're about to select. But be thinking of that. Who you think is going to be the star? We're going to get a mic to you in a second. I promise you. Yeah, I hear you. Curtis, I want you to lead us off here. Who do you see being the star of today's game?
Okay, I'm not taking any of the low-hanging fruit here. I'm just not doing it. Like, it would be so easy to say Vahiva or, Cam or, like, any of these other guys. But you wanted me to lead off. And, sometimes they say the 9-hole hitter can be a second leadoff hitter, right? And so what I'm telling you right now is Justin Thomas. I think Justin Thomas Jr. is going to be that guy. And,
hell yeah.
Appreciate you, man. They've been good. Yeah, all right. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. It's going to be great, man. Appreciate you. By the way, sorry to interrupt. That was shout out to Hagen Smith's grandfather.
He's
all right.
Sorry about that.
That was Daniel Shee. Daniel Shee making it known to the entire Foghorns that you can just come and walk up and talk to us in the middle of the stream like you run the place.
Yeah.
Was there?
Dude, it's over.
Okay,
like, just move on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We're all over the place here.
It's every time I've tried to say something on this stream, it's like something's happened. So I got
Did you feel like you properly eloquated your point?
I think I got it across there. Yeah.
John, who's your heavy hitter?
JT is going to be
anyone but JT Thomas.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, and just after yesterday and seeing how Vahiva Loy just really reasserted himself as why he's the SEC Player of the Year and everything, I love that. That's exactly what you need. But mine is going to be his brother, Kuhio Aloy, because not to and everyone's been talking about them scuffling or struggling or whatever it is, but because of that, I feel like it just takes one brother to get it going. The other brother's going to get it going. So I think today we see Kuhio go out there and take care of business in front of the Hawaiian kids out there. He's got to get it done. He gets his confidence back. It'd be great if he goes for 2 home runs like Vahiva did. I'm not saying he has to do that, but I believe that he's going to start really settling in, really making some big plays. Give me Kuhio Aloy.
I like that. Well, people forget that Kuhio Aloy, 1 for 1 in his last one at-bat. Also, shout out to Caden Jowers, one of our resident chatters. He commented on the Baumbastic yesterday morning and said he predicted 12-3 and that the Aloy brothers would combine for 2 home runs, which they technically did do.
Yeah.
And it was 12-1. So you were a little off the mark there. With your prediction, Caden, but we're gonna shout you out anyway. I'm gonna go with Brent Iredale, kind of for the same reason, a little bit of the same reasons of you look at this team, and everyone can be the hero on any given day. I mean, everyone in this lineup, hell, Justin Thomas Jr., Charles Davalon, that's your 1 and your 9. Everything in between have been the hero at one point or another for Arkansas. There is something to that where you watch your buddies, and you're happy for your buddies, and you'll take your wins no matter what. We got a lot of unselfish guys on this team. But Brent Iredale, it's been a while since he's been that guy that can really carry this offense. And when he's peaking, when he's playing at his best, I shouldn't say this in front of Daniel Shee since he hates him so much. But Brent Iredale is a guy that I remember back in the first weekend of the year, people were still kind of hesitant on this offense was going to be good. After one weekend, everyone was like, well, I know this Brent Iredale cat's really good, but is Fayetteville really better? Is his brother going to be any good? Is Charles Davon, Logan Maxwell? I think Brent Iredale is a guy that, he draws a ton of walks. I mean, he's still like top 3 on this team in OPS. He hits for power. We've seen him flash some leather. He's a 5-tool guy that can kind of do everything. And I feel like it's not that he's underachieved here lately, but we just know there's a lot more in there. And I feel like it's been a while since we've got an explosion. Volcanoes do not stay dormant forever. Actually, do some of them stay dormant?
I don't think so. I mean, it may be a million years, but there's always a chance that they are no longer
Curtis,
dormant.
I feel like you're smart. In science, if a volcano is dormant, is it forever dormant, or like could it just?
No, it's just it's like a bear in hibernation.
I like that a lot.
Come out eventually.
So it's like guaranteed to come out, or
no, it's just like it's capable of.
I like that. Well, that's where I'm going with. That's what Brent Iredale.
Right.
He's not guaranteed to break out tonight, but he's capable. I like that a lot. Folks, appreciate you kicking it here with us on this show. We're going to get into the chat now. Let's see what everybody's feeling. I'm sure that the fan base, I really do think they're probably in good spirits tonight, right?
So.
They better be.
Foghorns is feeling good because Tennessee's doing their Game 3 thing right now.
I like that.
So
I mean,
down 4-2 early to wake there. So
listen, Liam Doyle, very good arm. Marcus Phillips, very good arm. After that, there's a couple good bullpen arms, a couple really, really good pieces they got.
Get a little dicey.
It can get a little dicey. And so we'll keep that. We'll keep an eye on that regional. Of course, Arkansas is matched up with them. But shout out to our guy Vince from me, says ready for this live to start. So many good games on this afternoon. And I see a lot of chats that have pointing out some of those, including Tuna's House of Influence, who says Wake Forest giving Tennessee a little trouble, but it's early, and this was before, so they're giving them even more trouble now. According to our guy SCT, Link Jarrett just got tossed in the FSU Mississippi State game.
Really?
Mississippi State has to beat FSU twice, so they've got an uphill battle there. But they've started that regional final, and they are doing it against an interim coach.
Yeah, that's a brilliant move by him to get tossed. When they have to win 2 games, that's a smart thing. Really send a message to the team and get them riled up. That's good. Yeah,
I like that. Shout out to Corey Dubs, who I saw on my way back from the bathroom about 10 minutes ago. And I had just washed my hands, and so my hands were, a little damp. You never get them completely dry. And so I shook his hand, and I had to do the I just washed it, but I just washed it. No, I swear I did.
I use soap and everything.
It's fine.
Yeah. But shout out to him for. I guess did he gift someone that? Is that what that? Or did he become a member? For
No,
he's been a member for a month.
That's right.
We've been doing this for a month.
Oh, he's been. Yep. We've been doing members. Okay. So now we're getting some of those. I like that.
Yeah,
like
so which means he gets a new emoji, because they have different Razorback characters as emojis.
He goes from Bobby Petrino to who?
I'll have to look it up because I don't remember myself, but it's somebody, just a little bit better than Bobby Petrino.
We didn't think we'd make it this far. We thought everybody would hop off board after a month.
That's right.
Love that. Ethan says he's listening while waiting in line to get back in. Time to lock in. Yeah,
that's
so I guess they do the clear the stadium thing. So that means Ethan must have already had a long day at the ballpark, man. I love that. Shout out to all the people, Daniel Shee included, by the way, who are just covering the entire regional and just there for everything. Love that. Vince from me follows up with tons of great baseball today. Shout out UGA and Vandy shitting the bed. Yeah, I feel like that's been a big storyline today. I mean, look, those are, I guess, only one of those teams. Georgia is on Arkansas' side of the bracket, so that's a potential College World Series opponent. When you're looking at your potential path, Georgia was in that path as a potential team Arkansas would face in Omaha. They will not be facing West Johnson and the Georgia Bulldogs in Omaha, and the number 1 overall seed. They are they're done. They're out of here, man. The curse is, it was 1 year where we got that curse wrapped up with Tennessee. Right back to it. Right back to the number 1 overall seed curse.
It's a pitiful performance, man. It's just, we were talking about it, off air. Like if Arkansas's had their stinkers in regionals, but if they did something like that, my God, man.
Yeah.
I mean, did they wind up getting more than 1 hit in this game? I don't know, but they had 1 hit through 8, and they were getting no hit through a majority of the game. They wound up winning that one, but good grief, man. That's
to be the number 1 overall seed, and on top of that, to win the SEC tournament, going into it, and to lose in your own regional. That's
Well, we said it earlier. Even Arkansas's biggest chokes have not been that. When they were the number
that's
one overall
rough,
seed,
man.
they at least lost in the Super. They've lost in their own regional, but never as the number one overall seed. You pulled an Arkansas way worse than Arkansas could. Man. That's big time stuff. Also, the most predictable of all time.
Very
I
much
don't
so.
think anybody respected them or Texas for that matter. Shout out to our guy Kingsley, who quietly has become a huge baseball guy. I've noticed. I've been keeping my eye on this kind of thing. I'm always aware of who. Because there's a lot of fans that some are huge football, maybe not as much basketball and baseball, or maybe huge baseball, maybe they don't love basketball as much. I've been noticing Kingsley's his baseball growth has been fun to watch. Blue Jays, New Jays, it's just a phase. Page me on my two-way. Hogs by 5 is what he says. I like that. Well, if he's calling Hogs by 5, that would be a lot closer than last night's game. But
This is true.
it's about what North Dakota State, about how they beat them. So kind of split the difference there. Raw Hog said the Oklahoma State comeback was so satisfying. Yeah, he's they were who knocked off Georgia. Shout out to Jason Jones and company. And is it Josh Holliday is their head coach?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to that crew, which is always, we know how fun it is to play against them in a regional. Georgia was feeling themselves when they got up, 7-1 in an elimination game in the middle of the afternoon. It was 9:30 in the morning on Central Time. Got a little ahead of themselves, and we're thumping their chest, which makes me appreciate Dave's speech last night even more. To see Georgia, who's got a second-year head coach, and they're all getting all fired up, and then they wound up ending their season a couple hours later, simply could not be the pig.
Mm.
Dylan McIntyre says, John, got that wood neighbors. You do have that wood, John.
Yep, it's a lucky bat. Arkansas is undefeated. That have brought it to a game this year in baseball. So, this is for Gagewood.
I like that. Is that really what?
No, it's not.
I was you had it last night, so I was like,
No, it's just I just wanted to try to tie it in, but yeah. Sure.
Like that.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that
a lucky bat, though. It's a lucky
John
bat.
is doing better than Darren McFadden by keeping it visible, because Darren McFadden, when he was like, I got that wood, everybody was like, what? And then the camera pans down and he shows the bat, and it's like, okay.
Yeah,
Makes
he just wanted to
sense.
show off his bicep more than anything, because it was, that's what he was doing.
Because he
But
had the 501
That's
tattoo
right.
on it.
That's right.
That's good stuff there. And again, shout out to Corey Dubs, who now this time, this is
All right,
confirmed.
there we go.
He did gift 5 memberships, which I like that. Hunter Ratio says Koja was fishing during the North Dakota State
I
Creighton
saw
game.
that.
Was he really? I didn't know if this was a factor.
Apparently they caught him on camera or
Yeah.
something. They on the broadcast. So
I love when Cam Kojal is up at the plate. And he has now. Cam Kojal is one of those guys with the alternating walk-up songs. He's got Big X the Plug as his first walk-up song,
which is electric.
And then it goes to this song that is called "The Duck Blind," and there's literally ducks quacking in the song. And so then, even when they don't play that song during his at bats, if he takes a close pitch, it's been quack quack quack. he singles up the middle. You start hearing those quacks. It's just good stuff.
Do you think he's an outdoorsman?
I think he is very much an outdoorsman.
Maybe.
Dude, they've got a lot of outdoorsmen on the team. Apparently, and Justin Thomas is from Savannah, Georgia, which is, he's a country boy as well. You have Big Country. They go fishing. He goes fishing with those guys a lot. And so you got a lot of outdoorsmen on this team. And then you've got, even the Lloyd brothers are also apparently where they're from in Hawaii is not Sousa's from Honolulu, which is a city, an actual
Right.
city. The Lloyd brothers, they're mud babies, as Scotty Bordelon would say. They're legit mud babies.
I just assume they're out there getting swordfish or whatever it is, deep sea fishing.
Yeah, I like that. I think Kahio's walk-up song is literally called Country Boy.
Oh,
Which
there you
means
go.
so. Man, he's a country boy. Aiden Watson says Creighton is going to be puckered for the next few hours. And we touched on this a lot about the pitching situation and just the mental exhaustion of fighting for your life, which Creighton did this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to do tonight, regardless of what this happens. That takes a toll on you after a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's, to me, is going to be just so satisfying to see if Arkansas just sets that tone early, man. Just be like, okay, you guys had your fun, nice little walk-off, but this is over with. You guys are going home, and we're going to send you home early. That's the tone I want to see set by offense, defense, pitching, everything. Just go out there, take care of business, home for dinner. Not really home for dinner, but not worry about tomorrow. Just get ready for a super.
This just, I agree. This just has a no funny business kind of vibe to me.
Yep.
I really get the sense that you're just going to come, it's going to be like last night, maybe not as emphatic, but just a no doubt about it, no drama type of deal. Get them out of here. No BS tomorrow. And let's move on.
Yep.
I
do too.
As much as I love foghorns and Baum-Walker, I really don't want to be here tomorrow.
Nope.
I just don't.
Nope.
So
No, that's a fact. I keep thinking back to what Tony Vitello said, which is funny because I'm watching his team in a little bit of a battle here.
Mhm.
We're not trying to outthink teams. We're trying to out-better teams. For Arkansas, Creighton's doing the gymnastics of, all right, if we use this pitcher for 3 innings and this guy here, well, if we can get this guy here to do this, maybe tomorrow we can use it. they can play that game. Arkansas is just like, we got a game to 8. I don't care who shows up. I don't care who you throw on the mound. We're whipping ass.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't have to really even stress. They don't have to do the mind game. Arkansas knows they're good. They know they feel at home playing in this atmosphere. I expect them to feel very comfortable.
Is it weird that this is how my mind works, that I actually feel better seeing the chaos of other SEC teams today?
Oh, yeah.
And feeling like that's usually when the opposite happens, when Arkansas – say if all these SEC teams were taking care of business today and all that, I'd make me feel worse. I'm like, oh gosh, because somebody's got to have some weirdness to it. And I don't know, it just makes me feel almost better that all the other teams in the SEC had weird games, close games, wild games, and I don't know. I feel like, okay, the crazy gets done with at 7:00 on Sundays.
Man, I'll allow it.
Yeah, it just makes me feel better. I don't know if that means anything, which it doesn't, but that's how I feel.
I like that. JTT. I don't think this is JT Thomas, or I don't think this is Justin Thomas or JT Hazelwood. I think this is a separate JTT. He says, bring on whoever Creighton has. We face the best in the SEC. Screw Creighton.
I mean, honestly.
He makes a great point. He makes a great point. Yeah. Which one of their guys that's 91 and 92 are you going to have to face? Which right-handed senior with like a 1-to-1 strikeout to per inning pitch ratio are you going to have to face? It's like, you've seen some big-time arms. You've had some success against some big-time arms. I mean, you pantsed Liam Doyle in this same arena 2 weeks ago. It's like there's a lot of confidence that comes with that, and I think that Arkansas, you could see that on the field. And I think that Creighton, like we talked about, the atmosphere kind of maybe catching up to them. There's something to be said about you think you can face a team like this until you do it, and you're there and you're in the lights are on. And I think both teams felt that, and they played accordingly. Absolutely.
Well, and I also want to throw in too. We talk about setting the tone. I also want to see if and when Arkansas sets the tone early, gets up early. I also want to see them finish the job. Not where it's like, we can start messing around and suddenly they, you're up by 6, but then you have the final 5 to 6 innings where you don't score any runs and you're messing. No, I want to see you come out and set the tone and handle business and handle that tone and keep it going. Don't get complacent. Don't get anything like that. I think that's going to be crucial because nobody's going to feel good until this game ends and Arkansas is the final victor.
Don't do against Creighton what Creighton just did on the field like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Like, if we could avoid that, that'd be awesome.
So are they up 7 runs?
10-3,
man. Yeah.
And then
in like the 6th inning.
It's weird. It's annoying. We've talked enough about North Dakota State's season and commemorated them. It sucks that they've played such good baseball and they make 4 errors in this game today, including one in the 10th inning, which wound up being the run that came in to score there.
Yeah, it was a killer.
And you get a chopper that gets home. That just sucks. But Creighton has to be having a little bit of a and then to get right back on the horse. That's I like that mentality a lot. Daniel Shee, by the way, says he was coming over if he didn't get run across the street.
He made it.
He did make it. So good credit to him. Is he on the press conference? What's he on right there? I wish we could someone's got to take a picture of Daniel Shee. Just him. This is fully dialed postseason mode right there.
Why did the Asian cross the road?
Hey, come on now, because he had to get to Foghorns for the Inside Arkansas Baumbastic pregame.
That's right.
We finally got the answer to the question.
I wish people could see this. There's a table he could use, and he could be sitting instead of using a chair as a desk and then hunched out. Whatever. All right,
we'll have to just
let him do his thing. Just let him do his thing.
We'll get him over here in a minute. But Cannon says that he just saw a Basis Health Tesla. I'm wondering,
whoa, really?
You saw it. You know about this?
I had heard that was in the making, so I assume that's what. So
it's like a company car basically.
Yeah.
Like that just is a Tesla.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
I don't know.
Here, I wonder.
Probably around here. Huh?
Also in the works is the Inside Arkansas Tesla that we're going to start having.
Sweet.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, how about that?
That's saying insurance is going to be through the roof. Whew.
Shout out to Vince from me, who has been a member for 1 month.
Hey.
Daniel Shee in the house. Yes, he is very much.
Yep.
Speaking of members. I don't know. Is Lane Hedge a member? I don't know.
Sure.
But he says,
he
not worried about tonight's game. Already got a hotel for next weekend. See y'all boys soon. Woo pig suey. That's the right mentality. You made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait until it's official in a situation like this. Probably saved you $30-$40 a night if I had to guess, Lane.
Yeah.
I like that a lot,
Easily.
especially because Tennessee hasn't clinched either. So.
Creighton has not beaten this team twice.
No way.
It's not happening.
No.
Yeah, I like that. Travis Adair says, forget the laughs and giggles. Finish the job tonight. We have wood on the mound, and Creighton's pitching staff should be stretched thin. No reason this thing shouldn't end tonight. Get it done.
Agreed.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
And I really I don't want to give DVH too much props for doing the very obvious thing. But I mean, you can just tell that's a dude that's been here, been there, done that, knows what's at stake, knows what he needs to say, knows the type of mentality. He also talks about, I think someone asked him, they were like, did you know that your team was going to be locked in? And he's like, I really didn't have to say much to him pregame. Know. It's like if I have to explain to you, hey, guys, it's the postseason.
I don't know if you heard.
You kind of have to win this game if you want to go to the next round. Like, you probably have the wrong team if you need it spelled out for him that way. And I think Dave just always has his pulse on kind of what his team needs, because he does get fired up here and there, but he always waits for the right moments. He waits for after the job is done. After the series finale, when he says, I don't hear shit coming from that Mississippi State dugout, stuff like that. And it's going to be a big theme next week when Arkansas is playing Tennessee, because we've already had that conversation. I mean, literally 2 weeks ago. You can't get too worked up in that one as well. And so I think these are things that when you have Dave Van Horn as your head coach, work in your favor as a Hog fan. And so should give a lot of fans some confidence. Okay, should we call Daniel Shee over here to give his HD Roofing and Construction heavy hitter?
I mean, it's up to him if he wants to or not, I guess.
So.
Daniel Shee. Come on.
Is this thing on?
If you want, you can
have mine if you want.
You can bring that chair if you want, or if you want me to hook it, or if you want to just stand and let it fire.
Hey, stand
you
over here.
Whichever
come on
one
here.
you prefer. If you want that
here.
chair, you can do it. But if you want to stand, it's all good either way.
All right, come over here, Daniel Shee. Yeah, they can't hear you yet, Daniel. Hold this stuff. That's your microphone, okay? All right, so we're going to turn you on. How do you talking to your microphone?
Of course, only an idiot would just come and run straight into a live programming.
Yeah. Luckily, you're not one of those.
Yeah.
Or a legend.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on that. So, okay, so Andrew, he needs his heavy hitter.
Yeah. Did you have time to mull over who you think is going to be your heavy hitter for today?
I caught most of Andrew, so hopefully I'm not duplicating his take. But I would say probably Reese Robinette, because until Wahiva Aloy hit his 2 home runs, he was probably the number 2 hitter for Arkansas in the regional behind Cam Kozel and Ryder Helfrich. About 3 seconds later, hit his second home run of the night. But, he just, for someone who doesn't walk a lot to all of a sudden just be drawing walks out of the 8-hole, hey, couldn't have come at a better time for Arkansas.
Seeing it well.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
What a night for the OBP of Reese Robinette. Small sample size, and he just works 4 walks and has a base hit, which was a fairly big base hit in the moment there. I like that. I think Reese Robinette's due for a home run. I mean, he's had 2 home runs this year. They both came in the same game. When he hits a home run, it's always 440. And so it's like, it's like Jalen Battles his sophomore year, where he wouldn't homer a ton, but when he did, it was like a cool. So you knew the power potential was there. I love that, Daniel. I don't feel like we give you enough credit for basically creating Ryder Helfrich. You've been a Ryder Helfrich, like the leader of the fan club, I would say, since the fall of his freshman year.
I don't know about fan club, but I definitely interviewed him when no one else knew who he was or even cared who he was outside of maybe 3 diehards. And the SID was giving me funny looks as to why I wanted to interview the backup catcher on the field after his freshman year. But hey, I'm glad it worked out in the end, right?
When it comes to the creation of Ryder Helfrich, I would say the power rankings, number 1, his father. Number 2, Danny Shee.
Yep, I think that's the only reasonable way to look at it.
Yeah, I like that.
That's where we're at.
Yep.
By the way, where's his brother? His brother just entered the portal, right?
I think so, yeah. He was hurt. I don't know what the injury was, because UC Davis's baseball coverage not like Arkansas's. But
Really?
He showed up on Instagram with a spling, or a splint.
A spleen. I hope he has a spleen.
Yeah, I like that. Well, you'll have to get that scoop. I'm counting on you to figure out if we've had so much success with brothers. You might as well bring in his brother.
Exactly.
It worked out so well with Cahillo. I love that. From a pitching standpoint, Daniel, I want to get your takes on, obviously, Arkansas's in a pretty good situation. And, it's easy to say, yeah, Gage Wood's going to throw, Gabe Gackel's going to throw. Outside of those 2 guys, which pitcher do you think is the most important, whether it's Fouch, Gibbler, whoever? Who do you think is like that one guy that Arkansas really needs to step up tonight?
Probably Christian Fouch, because his success probably will dictate how much you use him for the rest of the postseason run. And I'm sure y'all talked about it. I don't know how much, I just ran over as soon as we got done with North Dakota State post game from Baum across the street. But if Dave Van Horn were to draw up the best possible game that preceded his game tonight, he probably, I mean, you couldn't realistically ask for anything more.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
we were watching it in real time as North Dakota State was making that comeback, and it just felt like nothing, you know, because they ended up using 3 arms, especially Ackerman and Langrel there at the end, that they really wanted to stay away from. Those are 3 guys that pitched a lot for them in the Big East tournament and got them to this point, and who knows, I think maybe if they have a shot tonight, they may come back. But other than that, to burn all 3 of those guys.
Yeah. I think that was
Not
definitely
ideal.
important. And shout out to North Dakota State for forcing forcing the issue
Yep.
there. By the way, anyone in the chat, I see a few people giving Daniel Shee some props in the chat or saying things about Daniel Shee. You got 5 minutes to get as many Daniel Shee questions, comments, concerns that you want on your off your chest. This is the time to do that. Tuna's House of Influence says Daniel Shee won the spelling bee on ESPN in 2016. This feels
That's awesome, man.
This feels racially like ambiguous here. Is this?
Sorry, what now?
They're saying you won the spelling bee on ESPN in 2016. I'm guessing there was a young Asian boy that won it.
Yes,
There
there probably was a young Asian boy that won it. That was not me. I lost my 5th grade spelling bee to another Asian person. So
There is one
There you
person
go.
on this panel that has won a spelling bee.
John
It ain't me.
Curtis, when did you win a spelling bee?
6th grade.
6th
There
grade.
you go.
Do you remember any of the words that you were
Yeah, what was
forced
the
to spell?
what was the walk-off word that you had?
Pugnacious was my winner.
I didn't know that one.
Pugnacious.
you should spell it now. Can you still spell it now?
Pugnacious.
There you go.
Did you ask to use it in a sentence or anything like that beforehand?
I would have gotten some info on it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that wasn't my one. No, that one actually got me in state.
Ooh.
I lost on that one in state. My winner for the county, the Woodruff County spelling bee, I swear to God, chocolate.
Chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Chocolate.
Chocolate was the winner.
Man.
Pugnacious
sixth grade?
booted me out of there.
Man.
6th grade. Yeah.
That's
I still
tough.
can't spell restaurant.
It's my biggest trophy.
Wow, bigger than is it larger than Michelle? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
She's tiny.
She's getting bigger by the day, though.
This is true. Yeah.
You gotta read these
That's
mean
kinda-
comments, too. They can't all be
It's
nice.
taller than Michelle.
Without the context, yeah, we just got to stop here. Thank God she's pregnant, or else this really would have been a weird conversation here. Weirder than it already is.
Yeah.
Vince for me, a legend, says, somebody get my boy Mr. Shee a beer. If he's too young, get him a soda. Shout out to Robert Hurst, who did offer Daniel Shee a drink. He was like, what do you want to drink? And Daniel was like, he said Coke, and then we had to explain to him Pepsi, and then he was like, Dr. Pepper, I'll take that.
There we go.
Love that. Hayden Ulmer also says Dan Shee is struggling so hard to give Arkansas a positive outlook.
I think he's bought in now.
Yeah. Are you at this point? Are you like calling the hogs in the press box at this point?
Wow.
Has my propaganda worked on you?
Not quite, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, SCT says Danny Shee is the best member of Inside Arkansas.
I agree. I agree.
I guess I hired you. So
A+
congrats.
guest.
Yeah.
yeah.
Witty. I can't pull up the Witty chat.
Tell Andy to call us. We'll work out the details. We gotta.
He wants to know Daniel Shee's favorite anime, and I'm not asking
Oh,
him that.
come
That's-
on now,
I mean,
come
like,
on now,
listen.
come on now.
Listen. We don't have to do this. We really don't have to do this, but I like that. But Ryan McDaniel wants to know, I guess we kind of already said that with the heavy hitter, but do you have an unlikely hero tonight? Which I guess Reese Robinette's pretty damn
Unlikely.
unlikely,
Yeah,
right?
that's about as unlikely as it gets. He wasn't playing until about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that one for sure. What did he say? We had a couple over here. Yeah, I don't like this. Our guy Porkenstein says that he won the state geography bee in 6th grade. How good would y'all be at that? Like the city capitals and stuff like that.
Terrible.
You don't know
I
your
don't know.
capitals.
I don't know school, man. Like there was nothing I was good at.
I'd be okay, but I wouldn't win it. I am not smarter than a 5th grader at this point. I got to figure that out soon because I'll be doing homework with the kid. But
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but it's changed now since when we were doing math and stuff. They do this core math crap.
yeah, I'm not doing that.
Some propaganda, if you ask
doing
me.
Yeah. Well, it's 6:23. We're not quite an hour and a half from first pitch. I guess we'll be getting a starting lineup soon because that's what they've been doing here lately. They went away from the 1 hour out thing, but whatever. We're excited. The vibes are still strong. I'm sure the vibes. Is it still hot as hell outside? How hot was it when you were walking over?
Yeah, it was all right.
I mean, you're in
he's wearing sweats and a hoodie.
Yeah,
like,
geez Louise, man.
I never change my outfit, whether it's 30 degrees or 130 degrees.
Fair enough.
You know what? Now that I think about it,
media events.
I think he's right. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. He's like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Just always wearing the same thing.
Caricature.
Just like takes it off the rack, and it's just the same 8 outfits there. I like that a lot. But we're excited for tonight. I'm excited to get into Baum-Walker. Excited to see what that crowd looks like. I imagine maybe not quite as crazy and hectic as last night's, but 8 p.m. on a Sunday. It's always, anytime you're playing a sporting event when you're not supposed to be playing a sporting event, it's fun. You know, like whether that's a 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. SEC basketball tournament game or like a midnight whatever, the 2 a.m. regional final against Missouri State. It's always fun to be playing in a weird time, so I'm excited for that. Any final thoughts, guys, before we get out of here and before we prepare to go to battle with our pig?
Well, I mean, I feel the same way that when we started. I feel confident that it's going to happen for Arkansas tonight. You mentioned the crowd. I'm sure, and in fact, I know that there still will be some highly inebriated people in that stadium tonight, but not as many because it's Sunday. It's a different type of vibe. But that's just going to show how many people are going to be locked in, knowing what's at stake, not just for the players, but the fans. They're going to rally around them. They're going to take care of business. I'm excited about this. I'm excited to have this whole week coming up to get ready for a super regional, no matter who it's against. It's been time, the last 2 years, those in the past. This is a new team, new year. Get it done tonight. Let's do this again next week in a super. Let's take care of business, and let's have ourselves a night.
Yeah, they're at home. They're the better team. They didn't play an hour ago. Arkansas is going to take care of business in this one. I feel really, really good about it. The vibes are high, although I do see my lovely, just glowing
I was
pregnant wife
noticing that she pulled up on the scene right as I was talking crazy.
She's kind of got that look on her face like she just heard us comparing her to a spelling bee trophy.
She already
and she's gonna have
about
some
it.
words to say to me.
As soon as we got done with the spiel, I was like, oh no. I see her. She's coming on scene to
well, she already put something in the chat. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see it. This might be the last time you guys see me, so goodbye, everyone. It's been real.
She said, dang, just parked to say hi, turning around. Well, yeah, man.
But the good thing is I'm pretty sure she just left church, so she's got to be in like a forgiving mood. But,
Was she at the same mass as Cal, you think?
A lot of times she is.
Oh.
Yeah,
he held the door open for her a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you lying?
No, I'm dead serious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very nice guy.
I'm sure he knew. He recognized. He's on.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
if it was anybody else, he'd have slammed it on him.
Yeah. How's bragging camp, Michelle?
Daniel Shee, do you have a counter for our optimism regarding the Hogs?
No, you're in the 2-0 game, and you beat this team less than 24 hours ago pretty handily, and they burned 3 of their top reliever arms.
Yeah.
Had they held it at 10-2, I might play my usual role of, hey, they've still got their top 3 arms from the Big East tournament still hanging around. You never know. And, it seems like at least against different level of pitching anyway, but the Creighton's offense, I think they'll score more than 1 run today. How about that? Creighton will score more than 1 run today.
Bold prediction.
He said Gage Wood sucks. Is
Yeah,
what
he
he
did.
just
That's what I heard.
That's crazy. He says
Garbage.
he's unreliable. Says he's the worst first-round pick of all time. That's crazy. But I'm going to leave with this chat here because I just want to read it because it makes me smile. Hickory Hog 94, who's a great member of our streams here, he says Daniel Shee is the future Bob Holt replacement, even though he won't be as great, but at some level. So how about that? Just putting Daniel Shee, he puts a ceiling on his career. He's like, he'll be pretty good, but he won't be as good as Bob Holt. But he's going to be Steve Young to Bob Holt's Joe Montana. You like that?
Well, I don't know if I could do Razorback coverage for quite as long as Bob did, but hey.
he's like, get me out of here. I don't want to watch this godforsaken team more. Well, Daniel C., I appreciate you for joining us.
You're the
John,
man.
Curtis, I appreciate you guys for always kicking it. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in to our Baumbastic pregame show. Reminder, we will be back here later tonight to recap Arkansas's dominant, thrilling, super regional clinching victory. It's going to be a late night. It's going to be a fun night. Look forward to seeing everybody tonight. Have a great one at Baum. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Stay hydrated.